Hey, party people, it's Brandi and Cesley, and we're back with Blooming Through Faith, the podcast that helps you grow and bloom in your mindset, lifestyle, health, and wealth. We want you to know that you are capable, beautiful, and worthy. Okay, girls, today we are going to talk about a subject that is motherhood and how sometimes we can lose ourselves in it. But we want to remind you that motherhood is actually a beautiful journey. All right. So, somewhere between diapers and school drop offs and sleepless nights and giving so much of yourself away, it can feel like you've completely disappeared. Maybe we're thinking, I love my kids, but I do miss who I used to be. And if you've ever felt guilty for feeling that way, like you should just be grateful, let me tell you something right now. You are not broken, you are not selfish, and you are not failing. Okay. And I think about this all the time. And personally, I'm like, I show up on my social media. I'm like, all right, well, this isn't always rainbows and butterflies. And I've gone through loss and I'm thankful to be a mom. It's the biggest blessing in the world, but it doesn't mean that it's the easiest thing in the world, right? It doesn't mean that we can't be authentic and honest and show up even through the hard times. So today we want to talk about something that so many women feel but rarely say it out loud. It's the identity shift that happens when you become a mom and why motherhood didn't take something from you, but it expanded you. Okay. So this isn't about bouncing back. This is about becoming.
I love that. I think this is Brandy and I were voice texting the other day about this episode, and it's one that is so important, I think, because I know not everybody that listens is a mother, but for those of us who are moms, I think this is something we've all gone through. Whether you've gone through it in a big way or a little way, like it doesn't matter. You've gone through this shift. And I like that you use the word shift because it is an identity shift. And for a lot of us, it's hard to like in our minds we think like, oh, I'm adding on, but I'm losing a lot of myself. And so it can feel like motherhood takes pieces of you, your time, your body. Let's be really honest, like even if you're not somebody who cares a lot about what they look like it's a total shift up. You feel like out of body, like it something else is in total control of your body, your energy, your independence, even just your complete identity. Like we can talk about the fact that like your whole identity is now like, oh, I wasn't a mom and now I'm a mom. Like a lot of times we think that like, what am I supposed to act like? What am I supposed to feel like? What am I supposed to do? What's appropriate? What's inappropriate? Oh, well, you even hear society and the way that they talk about moms. It's always like, well, she's a mom. Whether it's good or bad, it's always like we have this kind of platform of like, that's how we're looked at. And so I think a lot of times it's really easy for us to see it as a loss. And I talk to a lot of women who have young families. And so throughout my ministry, I'm constantly talking to new moms, which is why this is so special in my heart, is because I hear from them all the time. And what I hear is like, I don't know kind of where I fit in anymore. I don't know how to act. I don't know how to, I feel like I've just lost a little bit of like the things I love and who I am in becoming a mom. Not that it's not a beautiful thing, but I think we need to stop looking at it as like we lose things in motherhood, and we need to start looking at it as a complete transformation, because it is a transformation. We are not who we were before. God has turned us into something new. So what if we stop looking at it as loss and start looking at it as transformation and start thinking, what if God isn't erasing who you were, but building on her and building on like the future you? What if there is a version of you in motherhood that God always intended for you to be, but you couldn't reach that until you became a mother? And so you're not less you, you're becoming more.
Yeah, that's so beautiful and that's so powerful. I really liked what you said with what feels like loss is actually transformation. And I think we forget that so many times, Cecily.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's talk about why this feels so hard, right? When you're knee deep in motherhood, because being a mom is hard. Okay,
Yeah.
let's just be honest. Having tiny humans, big humans, giant humans who need you no matter what stage of motherhood that you're in, when they own your whole heart and you're worrying about them and you're wanting what's best for them and you're doing everything for them and you're trying your best, like, and first off, when they're little, keeping them alive, like literally, like
Keeping them
there's
alive is hard.
It's hard. It's hard, right? Everything about being a mom is hard because your entire world shifts, and sometimes it's just overnight. Your body changes. Let's talk about that and how frustrating that is. You know what I mean? Hormones, like after babies, your body shifts, your body changes. It's never going to be the same. And sometimes we can look at that and we can get upset with it, or we can look at it as, oh my gosh, my body created a beautiful tiny human or humans. Think about that for a second. Yes, our body shifts. And I think a woman's body is absolutely beautiful, and we're all different shapes, sizes. We all have different genetics. And I think it's more important to be healthy as a mom than to worry about how we look in a bikini. But I understand when it comes to confidence. But just think about the fact that your body grew a human or humans, and that is so beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Your schedule disappears. It's like, it's not about you anymore. It's about
Yeah.
you and your kids and their schedule and keeping them alive. I think Cecily wants to say something in here too.
Well, and I think like back what you were saying about your body changes, like I think even when it comes to your body and your schedule, like we think so often that like we're supposed to bounce back to the way we were before. Like we're supposed to be who we were before and have kids. And like I'm so sick of hearing terms like, "Oh, you're going to get your pre-baby body back or you're going to bounce back." And I'm like, we don't bounce back. There's no bouncing back. Your body is different. Your body has literally changed its shape for 9 months. You've like everything gets bigger, everything gets swollen, everything changes. You have stretch marks. Like that doesn't have to be a bad thing. Like I think we have to start like shifting this mindset of like it's not that we're trying to be us before with kids. Like it's okay that that shifts. Like it took me a long time. I have a 16-year-old, okay? It took me 16 years to learn that like, oh, my body is totally different than before I had a baby. And that's not a bad thing. Like this is all girls that listen to this, so I'll be totally real. Like my boobs are a totally different size. They always will be. There will never be like a pre-baby boobs going on. They're just different. They're my husband loves them just the same. Okay. There's no change there. Like, and I can look confident and feel confident in anything that I'm wearing if I change that mindset from like, I don't look like what I used to look like. Well, duh. Why would I want to look like what I used to look like? I grew human beings. Like, that's a powerful thing. Like, I look different because I did something different. Like, I feel like when guys get scars because they've done something cool and awesome and amazing, everybody's like, oh, that's a cool scar. And when women's body changes because we literally gave birth and gave life, everybody's like, oh, you'll get your pre-baby body back. I'm like, I made a human.
Yeah.
I made 3 of them.
Yeah,
That's all.
exactly. No, I love that. I love that. And it's so very true because your body's always going to continue to shift. It's never going to go back to where you were in high school and in 20s and stuff. And that's okay. And you can still be healthy. Like right now, I'm very confident in my own body, you know, after baby, lost weight, feeling good, confident, but my body's not the same as it was when I was in my, like
Yeah.
Cecily saying, pre-baby, like it's not going to be the same, you know, it's going, especially if you've nursed, like Cecily was talking about with your tots and everything. It's going to be different, and that's okay. And your husband loves you just the way that you are, right? And so that's really important to recognize and realize. And as we grow, I have to say, like, my 30s, I don't want to go back to the mindset of my 20s. I don't want to go back to that body. I don't want to go back to that girl. I'm loving who I am in my 30s and who I'm becoming. And I think that we just need to embrace that. And something I can't stand either on social media and being a trainer for so long is when people post like, you can have abs too, or you can have this, or you can have that. I hate to be the one to break it to you, but everybody's body's different. Like, so don't like go and rush to some influencer who has abs and doing this and that because you just feel like your body's going to get there too because that's her body. You need to embrace your body, healthy habits, better changes, getting better energy, but don't compare your body to another woman's body either. Because we're all made differently, babe. I did a fitness competition, Cecily. I was in my 20s. I was 24. I did a fitness competition. I didn't eat bad. I didn't have alcohol. I slept. I did everything I needed to do for 10 weeks. I was perfect. And did I have abs? No. I did not. I had a flat stomach, but it wasn't abs. So I say all that to say everybody is made differently. So please stop comparing yourself to anybody else. And also know that when you grew a human in your body is magical. It's beautiful. Let's look at it that way. Okay. So with all that being said, sometimes your sense of self can feel like it's gone too, like, who am I? Who was I before kids? And like, the thing is, there's different chapters of our lives. Okay. And we're going to talk about that too. And like, what's most important in this chapter of your life, right? Think about that. And then make sure you know the things that bring you joy and your purpose and your mission. And through motherhood, you can still live those things out. You can do the things that fill your cup, the things that you're meant to do on this earth so that you're feeling like yourself again. All right. So feeling loss, it doesn't mean that you're ungrateful. Okay. So you can love your children with your whole heart and you can grieve the woman that you used to be. Both can be true. But when we don't normalize this and shame sneaks in and shame keeps women silent, that is not okay. So today we want to replace shame with truth and grace.
Yeah. I love that. And I think you're right. I think you can love your children with your whole heart. I think that's the thing. Like, it feels almost like we're not allowed to talk about this. Like, we're not allowed to talk about how we loved who we were before. And you are kind of putting that person down. You're putting the person who is self-focused away so that you can focus on the next chapter of your life. And so I think a lot of times women don't feel like they have the space to talk about that. Like, I grieve the woman that I used to be that was carefree, that would, like, one thing I used to love to do is before all my kids were born, are road trips. Like, you could tell me within 30 minutes, hey, we're getting in the car and we're going. I don't care where we were going, really. I was like, let's go. I'm in the car. I'm there, and you have kids and you can't do that anymore. And that's like, the things that my kids and I get to do are so beautiful. But I feel like as women, we don't want to say those things, right? Like, we don't want to say like, oh, but I also used to love the fact that I could do that. And now I'm going to put that down for something that's far greater, but I can still be sad that, like, oh, that's over. That was fun. Like, it was fun being just me. And now that's done and that's okay. And I have something far greater, but I can still, both of those things can be true. Just like you said, I love that. I love saying, like, both of those can be true. And we want to normalize having this conversation and having grace for yourself, because motherhood is a gift. And the thing is where God brings you to in this next stage of your life, you couldn't go unless you learn these gifts of motherhood. So motherhood it deepens you. It teaches you patience when you're exhausted. Like, there is no exhaustion like newborn baby exhaustion, right? Like, it teaches you patience when you're exhausted. I can tell you, I've learned so much selflessness in parenting two teenagers, like learning how to see them for who they are and respect that and honor that, but also, like, what are the boundaries? What conversations are we having? You're so worried about them all the time. Like, there's a selflessness that you learn that you carry in all of your relationships. Like, having teenagers and parenting them changes the way that I have relationships with every other human being in my life, because I treat them with more care and I see more of their perspective. It teaches you resilience. Like, how often do you want to quit something or lay down or stop? And you can't, right? You can't quit as a parent. And so it teaches you resilience. I mean, it pulls strength out of you that you never knew that you had. So these qualities are beautiful. Like, we want to honor the fact that motherhood does change you. Like, it should change you. You are not who you were before. And that's not a bad thing. Like, we have to stop looking back and saying, oh, I lost that, and try to get that back. You are not that anymore. You have changed. Motherhood can help clarify your purpose. You stop living for yourself. Your why gets bigger. Your choices carry more weight. They carry more meaning. I know for Brandi, that was a really big one. Like, I watch her as a mother and how every choice that she makes is so intentional now, because everything she does is like, I have my children. I don't want to lose a second of memories with them. I don't want to lose a second of this family. And so every choice she makes now, she doesn't just make decisions on the fly. Like, how many dumb decisions did we make in our 20s when we weren't thinking, because, like, we were like, well, if it messes up, it's fine. Like, now if it messes up, you have a whole family to think about. So your choices carry more weight. I think that also motherhood sharpens our priorities. We become more intentional. We are more aware of what matters. We do, and Brady talked about this a lot in our last episode, like, there's less chasing and there's more aligning, right? You become a living example. Our kids get to watch us handle hard days. They watch how we speak to ourselves. They watch how we take care of ourselves. They watch how we lean on God. Like, my relationship with the Lord has changed so much since having kids, because I know that they watch what I do. And so a lot of healing can happen in being a mother. Like, I think we think, oh, I'm in charge of these humans and it changes so much about me, but like it can really heal a lot of you and it can change generations. And the last thing that I want to say about this is like why motherhood is such a shift and we shouldn't feel like it's a thing that we're losing ourselves is because God entrusted you as a mother with them. Those kids are not by accident. They were not given to you because you are perfect. They were given to you because you are chosen. You are chosen to raise these children. And there are things that it is supposed to teach you that you have to have your eyes open for. And if we're looking back, we're not paying attention to that.
You said so many
I
powerful
said so
things.
many
And I love
things.
what you just said. I know. Like just mic drop. Let's just like in the in the episode here. Oh my gosh, that was so good. But you said, God entrusted you with these kids. And that's what we have to think about too, is like, can you imagine God made the baby and said, you know what? These are gonna be their parents, right? Think about that. And also something else you said was, the healing part. So for me, I'm healing because I am a mom. My boys saved my life. My husband didn't save my life. My children saved my life. Every single day, I get up and try to break generational curses, show up for them, work hard for them, pour into them, be the mom that I need to be for them and their future kids, right? And if they were never born, I don't know who I would be today. And I think God knew that with entrusting me with those boys. And I love what you say about, your relationship. It comes like everything Cecily just said, like your kids are watching everything you do. So protect your body, protect your faith, show up with intention. Be kind, right? Eat healthy because they're going to eat healthy because you're eating healthy. My boys exercise because I exercise. So it's just something that they do. And then today, Troy was like, man, mom, I don't want to go to school. And I said, yeah, I mean, I don't want to do anything today either, but I'm going to.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I'm like, kid, that's the story of life, right? And just teaching kids, not to give up and that we show up no matter what. And I think sports does that, like you said, being resilient and having dedication and stuff. I think that does a lot. So all that to be said, my goodness, everything you said was so great, Cecily. So let's do this. Let's work with some practical tips to help you get a little bit of you back, right? All right, so we're going to start with some small me anchors, all right? So you don't need a ton of hours. You just need intentional moments, all right? So maybe this looks like, and we've talked about it on the podcast before, is maybe this looks like 5 minutes of quiet time. I see it all the time. It's like these cute little reels where mom's they're on their way to Target or they're in the car and the music's blaring and they're like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden I feel like myself again because there's no kids in the car, right? And you can listen to whatever music you want. Like it could look like that. Like turn your tunes on. Maybe it's 5 minutes of quiet time. Maybe it's waking up, a little bit before your children. I cannot say this enough. And unfortunately, my kids wake up at 5:45 a.m. So that means your girls waking up early. Wake up before your children, even that's 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Do your devotional, talk to God, get some stretching in, do something for you before you're pouring into them. Maybe it's 10 minutes of movement a day. Here's what you don't need. You don't have to work out an hour every single day. Right? Get some movement in, whether it's a 10-minute walk, a 10-minute yoga, a 10-minute lift. Get some movement in because movement is medicine. I move, Cecily moves. We move for our mental health so that we can feel confident and strong in the women and the moms that we are, right? Or maybe it's one habit that you do just for you, something that brings you joy, whether it's reading. A lot of people love to read fiction novels. That's not really me. I mean, I like my podcast, you know what I mean? But I'm not like I love reading books. Like that doesn't necessarily bring me joy, but I do love it. Cecily's like, yeah, girl, I don't see you sitting on a hammock reading a book. But a lot of my friends, it does bring them joy.
I like to read.
Yeah, see, Cecily likes to read. I like to journal. I like to write. My goal in life, Cecily, is I want to write some books. Did you know that? I don't even do that, but I want to be an author. I want to write some books. Anyway, let's digress. I probably should start doing that in Cecily. All right, so you don't need your
You
old
need to
life.
do that in your 5 minutes of quiet time.
Yes, 5 minutes each day. I'm just going to start writing. So listen, ladies, like, you don't need your old life back. You don't need your old life back, and we shouldn't want our old life back. You just need rhythm that fits for you in this season with the things in your past, old life that brought you joy, that bring you joy. That's the thing, is you don't have to lose yourself. All of those little things that bring you joy, if you're a millennial like me and Cecily, we might listen to a little hip hop. Okay, we might stop, drop, and lock it. That might bring us some joy. Cecily, she's like, maybe not anymore because I'm a pastor, but me, I do.
Maybe.
When my kids
I
aren't
don't know if my
around.
body's gonna do that, but I'll do my best. I was gonna say, when you said that, I was like, a good 2000s playlist is all you really need. If you're a millennial, 5 minutes in the car, you get yourself a Starbucks, you drive somewhere by yourself, and you put on your early 2000s mix, you'll be just fine.
You'll be just fine.
You'll
You're
be just
welcome.
fine.
Thank us later.
Yeah, that's our medicine for you today. I do think, though, that you really have to stop comparing yourself to present you. Past you is gone, present you exists. And I think that's one of our biggest issues is and I've said this already a couple of times in this episode, but I despise the word bounce back. We're not bouncing back to anything unless we're listening to our early 2000s mix, then we can bounce it back. But we're not bouncing back to anything. We everywhere else in our life, we preach moving forward, right? We look forward, we don't look back. We move ahead. Even every mistake that we make leads us to the next step of where we're going, right? So we have to release this pressure to bounce back to who we were or keep any part of who we were. We are in different seasons than we were then. We have different strengths now than we had then. And it's beautiful to look back at who we were and say oh, that was a beautiful time in my life. Or maybe it wasn't. I don't know if you before I had kids, I was kind of wilding out. I was rough. All right. I was in very traumatic relationships. I walked through patterns of abuse. It was not the greatest, right? I was not the greatest human. So growing into this season is much better, but I can look back at that and say oh, I love that girl that she was, and I love her. And those memories are precious, but I'm not that girl anymore. And that's okay. We don't go backwards. We have to continue going forward. We have to stop thinking oh, but if I could have, we're not cherry picking this recipe of who we are. We are constantly moving forward. Stop looking back.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. I was actually just in a leadership retreat, and we wrote a letter to ourselves 10 years from now, and it just made me cry.
I would cry.
I was hyperventilating. I actually, when I was 18 in high school, I wrote a letter to my 20 years later, which I'm 1 year away from. I'll have to share that with you separately. But when I looked back, I cried. And so I say all that to say we need to just look at who we are now, embrace it and love it. And then go ahead and make some plans for the future you, right? Where do you want to be in the next 5 years, the next 10 years? Where do you see yourself and your family and your goals, right? All right. So number 3 that we want to give you as feedback is take care of your body without guilt. Without guilt, okay? Movement isn't punishment, it's fuel. Rest isn't lazy, it's stewardship, okay? And caring for your body allows you to show up better for the people you love. And that's what we've got to remember as women. It isn't, oh, we have to work out, we have to get to the gym, we have to do this. No, we get to. Baby, we get to. And we get to take care of ourselves, our body, our mind, and our spirit so that we can, let's talk about it again. We're talking about motherhood. Not only take care of ourselves, but take care of our kids and take care of our goals and the people in our life. But I promise you, mama, if you start getting more movement in, you're going to start feeling more energy. You're going to have more confidence, and you're going to feel like that little piece of you that you feel like is missing is coming back, right? What is that song? You're slowly coming back to life.
I don't know any more of that song. That's the only part I know.
That's the only part. I put it on 18-year-olds because that's how I feel when I'm working out. Okay. So definitely get your movement in. That's going to help, but without guilt. So there's no pressure. It's not I have to show up every single day. It's, hey, I'm going to move these days, or I'm going to do this, put it on your schedule. And if you miss it, no big deal. Pick it up the next day, because none of this is pressure. None of this is guilt, but this is a tool that's going to help you find you again for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a really good one. And I think it's important, all of these things that we're talking about are ways that when you say oh, I just don't feel like me, these are all the things that are going to help you feel like you again. And then I want to also invite God into this version of you, right? Pray over your motherhood. Ask God, who are you shaping me into this season? What is it that you're wanting me to go into? I think a lot of times we forget that we are not called to parent alone. We're called to parent with God. Like God is the perfect parent. There is no better example than him, and he has called you into this season of motherhood. So there are things that he already has lined out for you. And a lot of times we just don't know what they are because we don't ask. Like we just don't
Well, I'm just going to
commune
ask
with
that
him.
I could be the next Kelsey mom. And
Yeah.
Lord, I'm going to keep praying that
I believe that you can be. I believe.
I'm
If you've
just
ever
going
seen the
to ask.
size of Brandy's children, they are solid football boys.
Cecily, he's the biggest one on his baseball team. And the coach is like, what did he call him? Mitch was just laughing. He's like, big dog. He's like, come on over here, big dog.
Big dog. It's so cute. I don't know. Or you could have a kid like my kid who was the biggest. He was the youngest kid on the varsity football team. He was the best football player. We used to call him Ferdinand the Bull because he was like this gentle giant because he never wanted to hit anybody because he was like, it hurts. And I was like, well, you're the biggest one on the team. So that's your job. You're going to have to do it. And now he rides motocross. So
Yeah,
I thought I was going to be a football mom and that didn't happen. Now I go to the hospital for broken bones every 6 weeks.
I'm going to pray for you and your mama heart because of that. All right, guys, we got a few more for you and then we're going to wrap it up. So the last thing that I have for you here is remember, and this is probably the biggest one, okay? Remember, your kids don't need a perfect mom, okay? You know what they need? They need a present mom, first and foremost. They need a growing mom, right? A mom who's taking care of herself, growing herself and going after her dreams and showing her kids that because she is and she can, they can too. And a faithful mom, right? One who shows them how to get back up after falling down. And I actually said this, Cesley, in my stories today because it's January 27th now and like the third, and we did an episode about this last year. The third Friday of the year is called Quitters Friday or whatever, because people start their resolutions, their goals, whatever, and they give up in 3 weeks. So the best advice I can always give anybody is if you fall off, get back up.
Yeah.
Don't quit. And when you do that, when you keep going, no matter what, when you keep going in spite of, you're showing your kids the same. And that's the biggest thing you can do for your kids, I think.
That's so true. That's so true. And there's just a few scriptures that I want to just bring up and that you can just keep on your heart. If there's any season of motherhood that you're struggling in, if you feel like Brandi and I have been through the ups and downs of motherhood. We have been through the times where we've tried to like maintain our old selves, right? We have kids, but we're still, who we used to be. We walked through these seasons where we were trying to figure ourselves out and what we wanted in our lives and what we wanted for our families. And so Proverbs 31:25 tells us she is clothed with strength and dignity. This is what God gives us as women as a gift. We are clothed with strength and dignity. Isaiah 40:31 tells us that those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. And that's one of my favorite verses because we think that strength is this thing that comes from inside of us, but it truly comes from our hope, right? In our hope in the Lord, we have strength. So we don't have to be perfect. We don't have to like magically muster up this strength that we don't have, right? It's like if you wake up and you're having one of those mornings where you don't feel like yourself, you're having a hard day as a mom, remember that like you have hope. The Lord has given you hope. And then the last one is just Psalms 127:3, and that is children are a gift from the Lord. Your kids are a gift that the Lord has given you in part to change you, to transform you. It's not just about them. We love our children and we get so focused on them that we forget that we're a part of this journey too. As mothers, like we are walking through this motherhood the same way as they're walking through this childhood. I was looking at my 16-year-old the other day and we were doing something together, and this is my first time experiencing life with him as a 16-year-old. And it's just as new for me as it is for him. And so I have to give myself just as much grace and patience as I would give to him. And so I want you guys to just remember that.
That's so good, Cecily. Ooh, I was going to say, I know that because of my children and because of my healing and because of my changing, the same with you, I'm able to impact more lives. I'm able to live in my mission. I'm able to grow, right? And that's huge. So I love what you just said. God gave you children, not just for them, but for you. Ooh, man, Cecily is like, Preaching today. Going to
It's a hot topic.
church. I love it. All right, grow girls. We're going to end with this, okay? If motherhood has made you question who you are, hear us and hear this. You didn't disappear when you became a mom. You were reborn into a stronger, into a wiser, into a more purpose-filled version of yourself, okay? This season is not taking from you. It is forming you. And one day your children will look back and say, my mom didn't lose herself. She became someone incredible. So before you go, we want to invite you to reflect or journal and write this down. Who am I becoming in this season of motherhood? And if this episode spoke to you, please share this with another mom who might be struggling silently. You never know how much your share could matter. And remember, you are worthy, you are capable, you are beautiful, and we can't wait to watch you grow, girl.